Hey everybody, welcome back. Today, I just flipped the camera on. Today I have been working on some pictures that I'm going to hang, some paintings that I'm going to hang in my house. So I've got one done and I've got it hanging in. I thought I'd just flip on the camera and kind of show you what I'm working on. I've been doing some practice sketches in my sketchbook and just seeing how the paint flows. You know, got my wheat there and just got some leaves, got some blue lavender, got just a flower, got some, you know, like purple catmint and just some neutral catmint. I don't know what that is. I don't know whether it's lavender or I just kind of took it from a picture, not sunflowers, but black-eyed Susans, and then just this and some eucalyptus. And I always practice my colors, my composition, everything's going to be centered. So, and I am working on, this is my Arteza sketchbook. It's my favorite. I've stocked up on them because they're hard to find on Amazon right now, but I will link a similar sketchbook in the description below. Probably your best bet for sketchbook is go to Blick because they have the best prices, I think. You can get something very similar. So I'm just going through and doing some botanicals. I don't know if I'll do this dogwood. I like this dogwood, but you know, here's some pictures. But right now I'm going to do this eucalyptus. I'm working on Shizen watercolor paper, rough surface. It says it's internally and externally sized. This is a 9x12, and I'll be matting it under a 16x20 that has an 8x10 opening. So I'm just going to start and we'll see how it goes. These colors are from my landscape palette. You want to know what those colors are? They're Daniel Smith. I'll link there in the iCard somewhere video where I set up my landscape palette. It's been a very, very good palette. I've got every color I need. The only thing I think I might be missing is like a raw sienna or a yellow ochre. In this palette, I have nickel azo yellow. Now, I may have raw sienna in here. It says I do. I might try that. So anyway, here we go. In these colors, I'm mixing. Bring it over so you can see. My palette's kind of messy, but I don't clean my palette too often because I do like the mixes, the muted tones that I get. So I'm taking this Green Apatite Genuine and mixing it with this indigo, or I don't think it's indigo. I think it's Indian Throne blue over here. And getting like this bluish, greenish color. Then I'm going to rinse my brush and really water that down and get rid of a lot of that pigment. And then before I put it on my paper, I'm going to test my color. And see, that's still too dark for what I want. So I'm going to take some more pigment off. That's still too dark. It's getting, but it's a little too bluey. So I'm going to add a little bit more green. That's better, but I lost my blue. So that's about good. Because if I water it down, I got about the right color. So, well, that's still a little bit on the blue side. There we go. There we go. All right. So here we go. I know I want my painting about 8 inches long, and I want it pretty much centered. So I'm going to start about right here. My eucalyptus leaves are heart-shaped, so I'm being very loose. Here. And then I'm going to go down here. And over here. And I'm just using my sketchbook as my sketch page as a reference. And I really like how this rough paper causes these colors to granulate. Okay, so I'm going to go here. I'm going to make this one a little bit forward facing. It's going to kind of cover up the stem. And let's see. This one, I'm going to make it kind of go like it's pushing out. I'm going to put a little bit more water on there because I want these colors, my stem, to bleed into these colors. Okay, now I'm going to take this one and I'm going to go out here. Very loose, very loose. And this one. And this one I'm going to make kind of big. Okay, now I'm going to take this Naphthol red and I really, really love this for the stem. It's very earthy. Mix just a little bit of that in there so it has some harmony, but I don't want it to turn brown. So I'm going to take this and I'm just going to come down and do my stem. That and set that in there. I want those colors to bleed like it's one. And I'm just using a 1/4 inch oval mop. I really like this because it keeps my paintings loose. I never get a perfect line. Bring that here. Let that bleed up. I'm really focusing on trying to get my stems in before that paint dries. And that did start to dry. So now I'm going to okay. Oh, this one still doesn't have a stem. All right, so while that dries, I'm going to work on the stem a little bit and maybe drop some more concentrated color. Boy, that was soft. It really took a lot of pigment out. These Daniel Smith paints are highly pigmented. I'm going to just put some darker values in. with a smaller brush. This is just a Zen brush, Zem, Z-E-M. It was a cheap one off of Amazon. It's okay, but it's not my favorite. I had it out because I was trying to get a leaf shape. I need to get a small filbert, really small one. Okay, we'll let that dry and then we'll come back. Okay, so now that Naphthol Red took over my palette. So, but I still have a little bit up here that I can thin out. That should be the same color. But now I'm just going to glaze on, and I think this is pretty much dry. And I'm just going to glaze on 1/2, just to give it some dimension. I'm just going to lay some color in and glaze over that. Half. This one's not quite dry yet, so I'm not going to paint that one. And you know, if I don't like this one after it dries, it's no big loss. I can just start over. I'm picking up some paint from my swatch on my paper because that Naphthol Red's taken over again. Might have to clean my palette. Okay. All right, so we'll let that dry and then we'll put a little bit more detail in it and then it'll be done. Okay, I forgot to turn the camera back on, but I just went back in with some darker pigment. I had to clean my palette. That Naphthol Red was just taking over this palette, so I was just mixing some more paint. So with the Indanthrone and the Green Apatite Genuine. So I did find that there was some colors that I like to use that were lacking in this palette. So I did add some Indanthrone. I added some Quinacridone Rose. So those two are the only colors I have added, and there's a little bit there and a little bit here. So, but you know, you can do that. You know, you can do anything you want and make your own palette. So I was just missing in that point for mixes. You know, I don't use either one of them on their own, but for mixes, I needed those colors. So this is what I came up with. This is my Eucalyptus. I've signed it, and I will zoom in closer and give you zoom up. It's by no means, it's a very loose painting, but that's what I'm going for here. So if I take my mat and put it right here, I really like that. You know, you mat something, put focus on it, and you can really get some good results. So thanks for joining me. Talk to you later. Bye, guys.